Welcome everyone to the 16-minute follow-along class on Cartwheels. In this class we'll be going through an in-depth warm-up. We'll be of course learning basic mechanisms of the cartwheel, try to apply them to a proper cartwheel and play with some improvisational settings. Let's directly get going. Alright, to get going we go through a very general warm-up. By the way, for this follow-along class you simply need an open space where you can freely move around, and to warm up I simply like to start with some bouncing, some shaking and some full body spirals, as you can see here. This is really done to get rid of some tensions that you might have in your body and also to tune into your body very gently and carefully. It could be that cartwheels are still out of your league at this point, so taking a very easy approach to this class is what we're going after. But I can guarantee you at the end of this video, in just 15 minutes from now, you'll be able to get your first cartwheels and play with them. We then follow through with the squat, fold and hinge mechanism. So simply warming up your knees a little bit, squatting down, pushing your legs into straightness while finding this nice stretch at the backside of your legs. Quite a nice task. Repeat it a couple of times and we go into nice shifts from a downward dog into a plank position. Just very nice to warm up your arms, shoulder blades, wrists. Now in this one really make sure to push fully into the floor. Make yourself as tall as possible in order to activate the muscles that are surrounding your shoulder blades. We then shift the weight from one side to the other side, really making sure to push through and opening up the body. You can definitely shift the weight in between your legs and allow the legs to bend. This is really a full body motion, you don't need to isolate it. Next up we go into this nice little step through pattern. So crossing over towards the other side and pushing the body a little bit more into openness. You don't need to go all the way, you can really take it easy here at first. And by the way, if you need more time to warm up, you can simply stop this video at any point and keep going a little longer. Stepping through, opening up and keeping your breath nice and floaty. Better be keep this in your mind all throughout the video. A nice floaty breath will make everything much more easy. We then go into some basic leg swings. At first, forwards leg swings. Please start super easy and only through time and the repetitions swing higher. We don't want to injure ourselves, but this dynamic mobility that we're after here is really the bread and butter of cartwheels, as we're swinging our legs in a cartwheel now. So also here make sure to get your repetitions in and we switch towards the other side. I also personally love to stop my leg with my hands. This is just nice to have some sort of target to aim for, and it just feels a little bit better to kind of stop my leg at the end of the motion. Next up we go into side swings, so crossing over the body and the backside and leading the kick with your toes. Instead of reaching towards the front now, reach diagonally towards the side. And this will be more or less the pattern that we're also going to be doing in a regular cartwheel. Now this dynamic mobility is not something that you can get through stretching only. You really need to dynamically go into certain end ranges like we're doing here with swinging. So all sorts of swinging really are great ways of working your dynamic mobility, which comes in super handy for all sorts of dynamic practices, just like acrobatics. We then have these nice arm swings where you gather momentum by keeping your arm straight and pulling it towards the backside. Simply go one side and then the other side and imagine you have a wet towel in your spine that you want to wring out. Next up, we go into a couple more swings, this time these nice back swings in a downward dog position. And if you look at my foot, I'm already adding a little jump or hover like motion in order to really prepare myself to go on top of my hands. And look, if you are afraid of going upside down on top of yourself, this exercise is great because with every repetition you can gain confidence by doing just micro hops and then gaining a little bit more height throughout the time. Alrighty, a nice shake of the body, and we continue with the Pendulum Mechanism. Now this one, as you can see, works by kind of like throwing my leg upwards, upper body follows, and reversing this motion. My upper body and my leg are not moving at the same time, but there is a little delay, which is the pendulum. So my leg can actively move my upper body. And this one really, you should feel it as a very snappy motion, and it kind of feels like gaining free energy. Now the swing of the leg is then going into your upper body, and therefore you can go into a standing position very easily. From this position you can also see now I'm definitely allowed to touch the floor to make it a little bit easier, and it's a very nice spring-like motion. Leg drives up, kicks down, and then there is this nice connection into the upper body, so I can stand up with ease. Now this pendulum mechanism, really make sure to practice this so you fully understand it. And if you do, you can directly apply it into a little handstand swing up. So swinging up, landing, kicking, and the upper body is following through. We definitely switch towards the other side as well. Especially in those easier variations, make sure to work on both sides, always. Later, when it gets a little bit more complicated, it's okay to also leave out one side for now, but for these preparations, definitely work with both sides. And again, a nice, easy, relaxed breath makes everything so much more easy. A moment of rest, shake out your body, and we continue with what I call Slinky mechanics. So in a wide stance, you would reach as if you would go for a cartwheel, right? You don't fulfill the cartwheel, you just reach, tap the floor, and go back. Now, why I call it the Slinky, maybe you know this kid's toy that can walk downstairs like a little spiral, is you really want to open the side of your body fully until you could sense that your legs could follow through. So it's kind of like, imagine a rubber band that is stretching all along the side of your body, and you really want to stretch it, and when you feel it you release back again. So it's kind of like also a very dynamic motion. Now this one, you could even stop the video here and do another round in order to fully get the idea. Hey you, if you're interested in diving into a dynamic, rich and playful movement practice while learning great skills, then check out my Finding Flow online programs. Apart from the skills, you of course also learn how to mobilize, strengthen and condition your body. And of course, how to find some flow. As a newcomer, check out my Finding Flow Basics or Integration courses, or directly go for the Entry Bundle, a perfect start. If you're already familiar with acrobatics, then check out my newly created Acrobatics Atelier online program, a true deep dive into all things acrobatics. Of course, also this one comes with high quality video breakdowns. Coming through YouTube, use the code YouTube10 for a 10% discount. And find everything on neilteisner.shop. Alrighty, let's actually start refining our cartwheel. So what I like to do is at first, in a slow motion way, go through the pattern. Like before, find this nice stretch alongside the body, but then crawl towards the other side and fulfill the cartwheel motion. Now, as you see, I like to be in a wide stance position, and now there is a small weight shift. So from a standing position, I take a nice step while shifting the weight towards the side, and this gives me a very nice and smooth cartwheel motion. With every repetition you can try to speed up the cartwheel a little bit in order to really make it super smooth. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, this ain't a cartwheel, this is super low, in fact it is a cartwheel. We could call it a low cartwheel, and it's a great way to already get the idea of how this move works. Now, the thing is, as nice a single move like a cartwheel is, I think it's so fun to really play with it freely. So what you can imagine now, that the place that you're moving on is a piece of paper and you're a pen and you want to draw squiggly lines. So you can kind of pivot around your feet towards the back or towards the front. You don't need so many techniques here now, you can really just experiment. How can you turn on the spot? And how can you draw with your body across the paper that is the space? Finding nice connections from one into the other pivot. Figure out how your arms could help yourself here. But really, this is an ongoing project and it's a learning process. The cool thing is now this frame you can use in order to connect it to your low cartwheels. So simply have an experiment here. Turn yourself and try to see how you can turn yourself into the floor, into a nice cartwheel, or maybe two. You don't need to think in terms of repetitions here. You can maybe just play a nice song or follow along with me and simply figure out how can you now dance with little cartwheels. Sometimes it works, sometimes it won't work, but this is not too important. Just enjoy it. Nice, good job there. Let's take a moment to simply relax, check out the body, walk through the space and breathe. I really hope you enjoyed this frame, and from this more open form setting let's go back again to working from a low to high cartwheel, so on the skill more. We can again start with the lower cartwheels, this time allowing the legs to swing a little bit more, in a more high manner. You don't need to go directly all the way high, but you can simply figure out with every repetition if you can swing just a little bit higher. Now, for me the secret really is to work also with the arms. That means from a standing position, I really throw my arms into the floor, which then helps my legs to come after. Again, this Slinky metaphor. One part is moving, the other part is following. Maybe you also noticed already that whenever I stop the motion, there is a tendency to pivot. And this is simply for the sake of continuity and flow. This is what I like to practice, landing something and already seeing how I can continue with it. It takes time, but with time and practice, you'll be able to get it. Now, before we go into a full cartwheel, let's simply open up the body a little bit, reaching upwards towards the sky, bending backwards a little bit, a couple of nice arm swings, which just feels great, but also allows our shoulders to open up so we can use it for the next task better, which is now giving some oomph, some power for the cartwheel. So now you can really see how I'm gathering momentum and then snapping into the cartwheel, and also very quickly snap out of the cartwheel. So going into it, catching myself and diminishing the momentum. A very rapid motion, and this time really containing the energy. Instead of continuing with pivots, I stop, choof, and gather it again. Now this one is a great way to also strengthen your core in a dynamic way. And what I'm doing here is simply adding a little hop afterwards. This is really just to emphasize how much momentum we can build through a simple task, just like a cartwheel. Again, breathing, relaxing. These cartwheels can get tiring, so really take it easy. But we'll continue now with the Armswipe. It's a great move, and if you really want to learn it in depth, I have a video linked in the description. You can check it out. But then the Armswipe really is kind of like a low cartwheel with this extra swiping motion. And I'm going here for a sequence of Armswipe into cartwheel. Once again, going low cartwheel, stepping and opening with the Armswipe, continuing into yet another cartwheel. Now, if this is too fast for you, please simply stop the video and try to figure it out. Again, low, Armswipe, continue, cartwheel, and finish, if you wanted to, with a nice pivot. It maybe looks a little bit more complicated. In fact, it's quite easy because you simply need to follow through with the momentum, landing and falling into yet another cartwheel. What I'm doing here is now already experimenting with a couple of different cartwheel variations. Maybe just trying to figure out one-arm cartwheels if you have them, or slow cartwheels, high cartwheels. This is really fully up to you what you want to do from this point. Now you have some very nice technical knowledge and you have a very nice frame to improvise with. So all of this now should give you a lot of different tools to play with basic cartwheels. Now take a moment, relax, enjoy, and if you want to keep going, simply do so. But this video is done. I hope you liked it. Let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and also let me know in the comments, did you like this video? Do you want to see more videos just like this? Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and with the code YouTube10 you can get 10% off any of my online programs. Simply find them in the video description. Over and out. Sorry for interrupting, just a quick question. Do you want to experience more flow in your movement? Then I've got something for you. Enter the Flow is a completely free, yes you heard it, free online program for you, containing high quality video breakdowns. You can simply check it out by clicking in the video description, typing in your mail address and opening up the mail. Download the program, happy practice. Now back to the video.